Sometimes we don't even know what we don't know, and we don't even know that we don't know it.
Yep.
That doesn't mean there isn't something out there that's true that will affect our life for the better. And so that's my other thing is that when you hear something like this, even though it may sound a little far-fetched, have some faith and trust and give it a try, because how many times have we found things that actually really we didn't think it would, and it really did make our
Sure.
life better? And this is one of them. I testify to that, and I tell you that it's true. All the work that I've done, this is a true body mechanism.
Hey, everybody, welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I'm so excited to have you on today. Thank you for listening. I want to tell you just a smidge about me before I get going with my great guest. I I love meeting people. I love hearing what people are up to, their stories, sharing these incredible things that they've worked on, invented, or what they've built. And I just, whenever I get to meet people, I end up trying to say, hey, can I spend like a half hour with you or longer? And then I'm like, wait, can I tell people about you? Or I think I know some people that you need to know. How do I share them with you? Or um, I might end up, if you're like, Tiffany, I don't meet cool people. No worries. You just have to say, hey, who do you know that I need to know? Right? Like you have the right and the ability to ask for a referral. That's okay. So what ends up happening is I've met a snowball of phenomenal people that I can no longer keep silent about, and that's why the show was born, from some nudging from some friends, and they said, "You should start a show and tell everybody about all the people you've met." And so that's why you're here, to learn about some amazing guests that I have today. With that, I am proud to welcome Dr. Michael Hutchison. Okay, we met through the power of referral, and from a phenomenal referral, by the way. He's like amazing human that I love to talk to, and he told me you're working on something phenomenal, and I want everyone to know. So do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're working on right now.
Well, I'm a neuromuscular dentist, which is a really subspecialty. Started out being a cosmetic dentist, one of the first in the world. There was 125 when I went through the process, and that just led me to uh, neuromuscular dentistry that has to do with our physiology and the way our nerves work in relation to our jaw. And so, uh, the typical person that I would see on a day-to-day basis would be somebody with TMJ, temporomandibular joint syndrome, headaches, migraines, back pain, popping and clicking, grinding, clenching, not sleeping very good. Those kind of people, there's lots of them, probably 26 million in the United States. It's a lot of
So
people.
many.
And frankly, there's a really not a good way to manage that in the mainstream of dentistry. You have to come to somebody like me that can actually resolve the problem. And so um, I've been doing that for 26 years. And early on, I just something fell from the sky in relation to it, and I developed a neuromuscular oral device that increases your strength, balance, oxygen, and turns out we reduce the chance of concussion down to 0.2%. So it's been really exciting, and every day is just a challenge, and I get to do all that and help people relieve their pain and help athletes play better and play safer.
This is so fascinating to me. I love the science behind anything that I can read up on, and the history of what we got. I'm so privileged I got to spend extra time with you before we even had this show today. Of where this came from is mind blowing, because what it looks like when I got to go to your site was like, oh, you've got a what looks like a mouth guard. And you're like, no, it's not even a mouth guard. It does this, 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 this. And I thought, I need everyone to know about this as soon as possible. Not just for like friends, for family, for can I tell my doctor, my chiropractor, can I tell people about this? Because what you've cracked the code in, I love also the name NeuroGuard, that is doing things that I don't think even medical people probably even believe you at this point, right? Like you have made such a good case for everything, and all the work and the time and the effort and energy to invent this wearable. that's changing people's lives with instant proof. And I love this so much that I want you guys all to focus in and pay attention because this is phenomenal. Now tell me a little bit more about the wearable that you have invented.
Well, the thing that there's a story in history that just inspires me, and I love it because I've lived it for all the time that I started to do this, and that is the story of Galileo and Pope Urban V. And Pope said that you need to stop teaching that the earth orbits around the sun because the Bible says the earth will not be moved. And I am the leading authority. And if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to put you in jail. And Galileo just could not stop because it was true, right? And
Yep.
so, yeah, he ended up dying in jail because how can you go against the truth? And so, this is the
Right.
same thing with what I'm doing. Maybe not as monumental as finding out that the earth isn't flat and it goes around the sun, but when if you look at what mouth guards are, they're 86 years old and they were just made to keep you from banging your teeth together. That was really why they were made. And if you look at all sports and what we do with a mouth guard, it does the same thing as it did 86 years ago. And we all just kind of, we don't like them. You can't talk, you can't breathe. Um, they're uncomfortable, and most people will try not to wear them. And they're not even going to do any good if you don't wear it. But if you understand the science now that we've learned in the last 25 years, this type of appliance just changes everything. And not only does it protect your teeth from fracturing, but it also works with your nervous system and your body's physiology. And you can run faster, jump higher, you can get a harder hit and you won't get as injured. And
What?
especially it won't translate the forces of a concussion to your brain. It dissipates it out away from your brain. And so there's no reason on earth now to wear the old fashioned mouth guard. This is the new technology. And actually, you mentioned I changed the name because I first started out. Well, it was for strength, and we did a study and showed 16.8% increase in strength immediately, and so I called it Power Plus Concussion Mouth Guard. And I had so many people who would just say, "Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a mouth guard. I have a mouth guard. I don't need that." And it was really
Yeah.
frustrating because I'm like, "No, it's not a mouth guard. It's really
Yeah.
a medical device." And so I'm like, well, how can I change that? And so I thought, okay, let's call it a NeuroGuard. And then now nobody knows what that is. So then I get the question that I wanted now is, what's that?
Yeah. Right, get them to ask instead of like, "I already have it," right? Like, and not gonna lie, the mouth guard, either at the grocery store, you can, put in hot water, or the one from your dentist, hundreds or thousands of dollars, is not the same thing whatsoever. This
No,
is your actual study, science, and proven ability to do all of these things that you've just talked about, and you're seeing such great success all the way down to, like, what age?
5.
5 years old.
Yeah.
This is so cool to think that this is, like, and there's no limit on it for, as high up as you wanna go, but,
Yeah.
the athletes are the ones you saw the biggest result in. Tell me about some of those stats you were saying for the athletes noticing this.
One thing I should say is that it's a normal body mechanism. It's something that our body has been doing for eons. We just didn't know it. And so there isn't any physical activity that isn't improved by aligning your physiology in the proper way so that you can align your body to in a position to protect itself and to work better. I have an 85-year-old guy that has a acre of grass and he wears it mowing his lawn because he doesn't get tired. So he just wears the NeuroGuard mowing his lawn. And that I just think that's so great because that's really what it is. It's something that just kind of repositions something that your body's working against because of your anatomy, and corrects
Mhm.
it so that you can run faster, walk longer, you don't get so tired, and also you get hit in the side of the head, it's gonna dissipate those forces. So um, I've been over the years, I've worked with so many schools, high schools, colleges, professional athletes. I guess my poster child would be Kansas City Chief Daniel Sorensen. He played free safety for 9 years in the NFL, two Super Bowls, and he never had a concussion. And he started out undrafted. They just invited him to play on the practice squad, but he played so well that they just couldn't keep him off the field. After 2 years, he got a $16 million contract. He was a starting free safety, probably the position that you would get more concussions than any other position. They just fly around the field and hit people. And he told me he thought this made him invincible. And, I guess it did because he never had a concussion. And
What?
he was very, very successful.
Mhm. This is incredible. I love this so much. And being able to have so much data on it to get the actual percentage points of how much stronger to like even just straight up weightlifting. Oh, I can add how much more weight to every rep that I'm working on. Just blew my mind. I was like, people need to know about this as soon as possible. Um, I want to do this though, because I know we could talk about how amazing this like wearable is all day, and you do, and we should. But I want to hear your whole story, kind of how you got here. Like, let's start from the beginning. Like, where are you from? And I mean, did you only go to school to be like in the dentistry field? And like, what did that look like, kind of starting from the beginning?
Well, I was a late bloomer, ninth grade. I, my voice hadn't changed yet, so uh, I grew up and I was born in Utah, and then my dad graduated from BYU and went to Iowa State University and became one of the first exercise physiologists in the nation. And that brought all sports. He had tickets to every kind of sport. All his friends were the coaches. His best friend was many-time national gymnastics champion coach Ed Gagne, and they were 10-time in a row racquetball faculty champions until my dad severed his Achilles tendon. But I just point that out because, I played baseball, tennis, football. I played all the sports. I went to all the games. It's just sports was and still is just a part of my life. And so it was a logical thing when I was doing this that sports would become part of it. But I really wanted to be a veterinarian, and at Iowa State they had probably the number one veterinary college in the United States, and I really wanted to do that. I loved animals, and so there was a veterinary student in our church, and I went to him, and I was in high school. I was senior year, and I said, "Can I go hang out with you and see what you do? Because I kind of like to be a veterinarian." He goes, "Sure, come on up." So the first thing we did was a pig surgery, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. And then he says, "Okay, I've got to go check my artificial insemination project, so let's go to the barn." And we went out there, and we went in the door, and the cows were in there, and he just went over the cabinet, got a big glove that went up to his shoulder, lifted up the tail of the cow, and stuck his arm all the way. And I looked at him, I'm like, uh, if you want to be you want to be a small animal doctor, a veterinarian for Chihuahuas, you have to do that. He goes, everybody has to do that. And I'm like,
No.
oh, I can't do that. You just can't do that. And
Wow.
I went home and told my dad, and he grew up on a farm in southern Idaho, and he had a big belly laugh. He just thought that was so funny. And I got, "Dad, what am I going to do now?" And he said, "Well, why don't you be a dentist? They play golf 3 times a week, and then go in the office a couple days." And I said, "Well, that kind of sounds good. I doubt that that's true, but I mean that sounds good." So I met, I just looked in the phone book. I called this lady dentist who I knew was kind of young, and so I could relate to her more. And so I called her and said, "Can I come and hang out?" And she said, "Sure, come on in." So I spent the day with her, and I just really got inspired with what she was doing. And she was young and progressive, and she wasn't doing the ancient kind of dentistry. And it's the kind of dentistry that I was interested in, making smiles and being modern. And so I kind of decided right there, then and there, that
Wow.
I was going to be a dentist. And I took a 2-year hiatus from school and went and did a mission for my church in Italy, which was a fabulous
Oh, wow.
experience. And I still speak
Oh,
Italian 45 years later.
how
But
about that?
I told everybody in Italy that I was going to be a dentist. I came home. I went out to BYU. I entered the pre-dental program, met my wife. We moved to Ames, Iowa, and I finished my undergraduate at Iowa State. And then I transferred to Loyola School of Dentistry, which is the first dental school ever in the nation, um, in Chicago. And that was a fantastic program, and especially in the clinical. And I just graduated, bought a little practice in Chicago area, and started practicing dentistry. And it took me about 10 years. I wasn't really happy with this TMJ stuff they taught me. It just didn't make sense to me. And so I started to branch out, and that just changed my whole life. Whereas I didn't know how to cure or manage TMJ, I totally uh, became proficient and was able to actually cure people from this disorder that is very
Yeah.
debilitating. And then the rest is history. That this idea of a physiologic mouth guard just fell from the sky. So that's kind of my journey from just being a all American boy to becoming a neuromuscular dentist.
That is incredible. Now, being able to see that there is something that was told to you is unsolvable, just manageable, right? That's not fair, right? Like, tell me why. Let me prove it to you that I'm going to dig deeper. And then being able to see, wait a minute, I understand and I deeply I mean, even wanting to be in the medical field in general, like, "Oh, okay, I wanna work and figure out because you have to solve what's wrong with the animal. They can't even talk to you, right? You've like
Absolutely.
and then being able to translate that to like, "Well, I wanted to do that, and now I can do it to people that can talk to me," and hearing what their woes are, and then seeing because I know even in dentistry, you have to study a lot of anatomy in the human body. It could be ancient at this point, right? Because I know we're trying to become better, but we do what we do and you get what you get whenever you go through the college, how long ago. But being able to translate that into like, wait a minute, where was the light bulb moment where you were like, maybe if I build something myself to be able to transfer into making this, because no one else had anything, right? It was just like throw a mouth guard on someone and tell them to wear it at night.
Yeah, well, see that. I think that's why this was made for me, because my dad was, like I said, grew up on a farm. So did my mother. They knew each other since they were 2 years old. Both were farmers, and they were do-it-yourselfers. And my dad, he never took his car for an oil change. He did it himself. He did everything. Uh, I worked construction after coming back from Italy. I worked at cement, and so we made a patio, because hey, we can do that. So that was kind of ingrained in me that there isn't anything. And he was very positive. He would always say to me, "There isn't anything you cannot do if you work and put your mind to it." And that's really ingrained in me, that there's nothing I can't do. I just have to find out how to do it, basically. And then something that struck me uh, just a few years ago when I was visiting my mother, she says, you always used to say, I want to know why your way is better than my way. And I said, man, does that describe me? Because I'm sitting there in class and they're teaching me about TMJ. I've never heard of it, but what they were teaching me, it just sounded ridiculous to me. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. they're telling me that there's this disorder of TMJ and there's nothing that we can do to cure it. We don't really know what causes it. We just know that if you make a bite splint, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be a doctor and somebody's going to come in and they're going to have TMJ and they're going to say, what can you do for me? And I said, well, I don't know what causes it. I don't know how to cure it. Here's the fight split. Or it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's nothing I can do. So make sure you pay your bill on your way out. I just thought, wow, I can't do that. I gotta figure this thing out. And so I think that was one thing that is kind of ingrained in me. And the other thing is, uh, I cannot quit something that I start. I can't
Yeah.
and I can quit if I figure it out, and if I figured it out and I'm done with it, yeah, I don't have to do it anymore. But if I
That's not quitting, that's accomplishing.
well,
You get to set it aside.
the example I can give of that is my wife's best friend, next door neighbor, calls her up and says, I've been locked out of my car. My keys are sitting in the front seat. I've been working on it for a half hour with a hanger, and I just can't get it. Does Mike have any suggestions?" And she says, "Well, I kind of hesitate getting him involved. Why not? Because he won't quit, and we got things to do." And she goes, "Well, I just need help. I got to get going." Okay, I'll ask him. So I said, "Yeah, let me go look at it." So I go over there, and immediately she says to me, I've been doing this for a half hour. You're just not going to get it." And my wife's like, "No, no, no, don't pull it.
Challenge
Oh, dang
accepted.
it." I go, "Give me that thing." Took him about 10 minutes. I got it. But, you know, it, I probably would have been there for hours trying to get that thing out of there because that's just the way I am. And that extrapolates to 26 years of working on NeuroGuard and having everybody and every expert in the world telling me that I was wrong and I didn't know what I was talking about. And mouth guards do not prevent concussions. And I'm just, I knew that they were wrong. And it's
Wow.
like you can say that and you can, be around all these other people who agree with you. But the problem is that you're wrong. And
Yeah.
you're right, because what you're thinking about a mouth guard does not prevent concussions. But if you do it this way, yes, it
Mhm.
does. And we need to
That's
be
incredible.
focused on that, helping kids, eradicating the 3 million concussions that happen every year and have been that way for 60 years. And we just keep saying, well, there's nothing we can do. I just don't accept that.
Yeah, 100%. I love the tenacity and grit that you already had pre-installed into you to be able to say, "You know what? I'm not accepting that as an answer," to be able to you were the one that had to conquer this space to be able to make something as incredible as this. But you know what? You keep showing up because you still have to fight the fight to prove it to people, even though the numbers are speaking in volumes that you're doing an amazing thing and the wave is starting to follow you of the people that are hopping on board to go and be an owner of exactly this wearable. It's super easy to get a hold of. Why why do you keep showing up? Why do you care so much?
Well, I think it's because I've had kids and they played sports, and I didn't want them to get a concussion. I understand the seriousness and the ramifications of having a concussion, and studies come out and say, you get a concussion, you're gonna spend $100,000 in your lifetime, and you know, uh, other things like Junior Seau and Dave Duerson who killed himself because he was mean to his family and he knew he shouldn't be and he didn't want to be, but he just, there was something wrong and he knew that it was because of all the concussions that he had. And he gave his life and his brain to the study of that. And I somewhat feel that that's really kind of my cause is to, uh, take concussions down to almost zero. I don't believe in, this is the other thing is I don't, if there's a problem, I don't believe in banning it. I believe in figuring out what the source of the problem is, and then you can still play the game, and you can still have fun, and you can still live a full life. You don't have to just ban things because you can't or don't want to figure it out. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really kind of where I live. It's just I've known kids, I've seen patients with concussions, and it's sad what it can do to someone. And I have a friend who's had two incidents. His one daughter died of a head injury, and another one of his sons was a model student, got all A's. He was a scholar athlete, and he got one concussion in a football game, and he ended up getting D's and F's and not showing up to school and just bad behavior just because of one concussion. And
Wow.
if he'd had NeuroGuard, and he's very passionate about it, he lives in Texas, and he's just made it a passion. He's an oil and gas guy, but knows all these people, and a lot of the research and resurgence of what I did have done came from him going around to high schools and getting the teams to buy into it. And every single team that's had NeuroGuard on their team has had no concussions. I have a team that he um, convinced to do it 10 years ago, and they've been using it for 10 years, and not one kid in 10 years has had a concussion. And that is
Man,
extremely phenomenal.
that
I mean, you'd think that everybody would just, drive up to my house and ask me, can I have one?
please.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Oh
it's
my
just
goodness.
like trying to get a new innovation uh, into people's hands is so difficult and so time consuming and so
Mhm.
costly. It's just,
Yeah,
but when you know that it's a true body mechanism, that's what keeps you going.
right? Willing to go to jail because you know it's true. We're not gonna go that
Yeah,
far back
I
in the
mean,
day, but, this is so incredible beyond words. At this point, people are thinking, "I wanna know, like, you told me the name of this, but where's your favorite way for people to come find this, but also find you if they wanna talk to you about this because they need to put this and implement it in the entire state, the entire school, the entire district, the entire sports team?" Like, where should they come find you?
easiest place is to go to NeuroGuardPlus.com, and it'll give you all the information, all the studies, lots of testimonials, and it will give you my contact information so you can email me. I get emails about this. I get emails about TMJ. People ask me doctor questions, and I'm happy to tell them. I don't say, well, go pay a doctor. Um, Whatever good I can do, I want to do it, and I know it'll eventually come around to being good for them, and they'll go and do good to other people. So um, just the website, you'll see it. Like you said, if you go on the website, then you'll start seeing it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. That's been one of the really great things that have transpired over the last a year and a half is that I got somebody who could really help me with the social media, and
Yeah.
NeuroGuard is just blossoming now because of it. I did a lot of other things that just never seemed to crack the nut, but that, you know, has been really great. And I'm hoping that
Oh,
it
that's cool.
continues to just blossom like a rose.
Oh, yeah, and if you guys are like, "Wait, I wanna talk to you about can I bring you on my show?" Like, reach out, go on the website, you could send him a message, send this team a message, go buy one for yourself. I mean, we're not talking hundreds of dollar here. This is a very reasonable cost for you to get, one of these NeuroGuard Plus.
You can
Um,
have a pizza this weekend, and then next weekend you can buy a NeuroGuard, and then you can have a pizza the next weekend and be about the same amount of
I love
money.
it. Oh, that's amazing. You've I can't believe you've done so much work and you've made it, like, very affordable for everybody to have access to this, not just the elite, then go get a customized thing, and it doesn't work anyway, right? Um, I can't believe time has flown. I only have 2 more questions left for you because this is so much. I'm so excited to send everybody your way. What is next? Like, what's on the horizon for the rest of your story?
Well, I'm excited about a renowned concussion researcher in Australia. His name is Alan Pierce. He got wind of this, and he really wanted to do a study to corroborate what we've found. And so he's finishing up. It makes me chuckle because in the United States we can't do this, but in Australia apparently you can get a bunch of soccer players and you can get a soccer ball launching machine and you can launch it at their head and then see what happens. So he's got a study with guys wearing my appliance, and he said he said I'm really gonna like it because it's really looking good. And so I'm excited about that because the doctor's mechanism of protection of whatever defense mechanism they have is always, well, show me your studies, and
Yeah.
they're hard to get. You just can't in the United States. It's just hard to get somebody to do it, have the money to pay for it, and all those things. Uh, People are studying stuff and they might not be interested, but um, this is great. So this is what I'm looking forward to, and I think it's going to really open everybody's eyes, especially in a sport that doesn't wear mouth guards. But the other thing is, I had a neighbor whose daughter was a cheerleader, and she got a concussion cheerleading at high school football games. And nobody would really think of wearing a mouth guard for cheering because, of course, the mouth guards you're used to, you can't talk, you can't breathe, so you can't do cheers with marbles in your mouth. so
Yeah.
um, So yeah, cheerleading is really a sport that is really active now, and they get a lot of concussions. They were number one a couple years ago, and they
What?
can wear NeuroGuard, and they don't have any obstruction from doing their sport. And so these are things that I'm looking forward down the road, and um, I just want I want it to be in everyone's house because every family has been touched by a concussion. Most of us, myself included, I had a concussion, and the doctor, when I was in fifth grade, told my mother that I should lay down on the couch and not watch any TV and keep the lights low, and I'll get better. Um, so, I mean, that was my experience. But every family, we know somebody, even if we haven't had a concussion, we know somebody that has. And so this is very serious and needs to be in everybody's home.
I love it. This is incredible, and I'm a firm believer also. I cannot wait to be able to bring this to anybody that possibly can. Last question before we go. What should we wrap up the show with? What are, like, your little golden nuggets, words of wisdom that you wanna leave with people?
Keep your head in the game with NeuroGuard Plus. I mean, it's something that's so easy, so affordable. It helps you if you're not like so into sports, but you just like to go out and ride your bike. You're going to be able to ride it better, longer, more exercise, and you're not going to be as tired. And this is something that we all do stuff. You're out there working in your garden.
Yeah.
If you have a bad bite, you're going to get too tired,
Huh.
and you won't know why. But if you get yourself this device, you'll see very quickly that you won't be tired anymore as much, and you can get a lot more done. And so that's my little nugget is that, you know, sometimes we don't even know what we don't know, and we don't even know that we don't know it.
Yep.
That doesn't mean there isn't something out there that's true that will affect our life for the better. And so that's my other thing is that when you hear something like this, even though it may sound a little far fetched, have some faith and trust and give it a try because how many times have we found things that actually really we didn't think it would and it really did make our
Mm,
life better? And this is one of them. I testify to that. And I tell you that it's true. All the work that I've done, this is a true body mechanism.
amazing. You heard it, guys. I want you to go straight to his website right now, neuroguardplus.com. I want you to go buy one for yourself, for your friends, for your family, because you can. Like you said, just forego pizza this weekend. You're totally fine on that. And then follow. You're going to notice it because I go there and then it shows up on all my cookies. That's the way we roll, right? And then I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for your time, for coming and being able to share this incredible device, this wearable that you've invented. And I think everybody who's listening right now, please share this episode. It will probably save someone from a concussion at some point. You just have to spread the word like I am right now. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. And thank you again. You guys go have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Tiffany. It's been a pleasure.